Hi, I'm Jason Corey, and welcome to another episode of Talking Tech. I'm here with Kent Spokus and Josh Bentley, and we're here for another great episode where we're going to cut through the fluff and talk about emerging technology and things that are relevant in government IT. Today's topic is on mobile application platforms and back-end integration for your mobile enterprise. And before we get going, let's go ahead and go over for introductions. First things for you, Ken.
Hi, my name is Ken Spokus, and I'm a technical director with Missouri, who is an advanced partner with Red Hat.
Great, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks, Jason. Josh Bentley. I'm one of Red Hat's mobile evangelists.
Great, appreciate it. So we know mobile is everywhere in government today. Every time we pick up a publication, there's usually some kind of article about it. But one thing that's not as commonly known is what a mobile application platform is. So can we start with just some foundational learning for the audience, Josh? How would you describe it?
So look at it like this. There's three layers when you look at a mobile application platform that you can use. The first layer would be a developer, the front end, what you actually see, the tip of the iceberg. We have tools, and what you see is what you get development kind of form builders that allow you to build a quick application or a complex application on your own, and that's completely segregated from the middleware. In a middleware layer, we use Node.JS, Node.JS, which is server-side JavaScript applications. They enable the developer to then attach their application in a reusable and scalable format to the backend. And then there's that third layer, which is the API catalog. So these backend connections that have been authorized that allow you to securely grab that data and funnel it through the middleware back out to the front-end developer.
Got it. So the mobile application platform is all three tiers?
Correct.
Provided as an integrated platform to a user?
Yes, so it's more than just the single piece of those. It's all three combined.
Okay, but the stance would basically be that there's front end, you need to have a flexible front end, variety of different development toolkits, et cetera, things like a form builder. Then there's a middleware component where in the cloud, if somebody wants to host services like data cache there versus on a device, they could do that. And then there's the all-important piece of how do you get your enterprise data, your systems of record, integrated with your mobile endpoints.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. So Ken, in your experience, and again at Missouri as one of our largest partners in public sector, where have you seen these types of technologies leveraged? What's the business value?
So the business value is the speed to market. I mean, you can very quickly start a project, check out some code, check it in, and then get it started very quickly. Or you, as you said, that third tier where you have those back-end services, there's some out of the box that will give me like a Mongo database, or give me some out-of-the-box functionality like that, or I can even create my custom connectors that will connect to my other enterprise systems.
Got it. So for most of the CIOs that I've talked to across the government, they're at the point where they have a smart device that's deployed now in their environment. They have an Android or an iPhone or a BlackBerry. I've just finished doing like a mobile device management rollout so they can secure the device itself. But what do you see as sort of the next phase in the evolution of mobility for government? Josh, you talked to a bunch of people. What do you think?
Sure. The two major things that we're finding in the market people are looking at is security first, which is addressed mostly by mobile device management, but not completely, and then data storage. So what do I do with data on the device? Do I trust it on the device, or do I talk to a cloud, or do I only let them talk to the back end when they're on and connected? Okay. So they're kind of coming now into a situation where you've got developers that are hungry to design with a mobile-first mindset. The problem is they want it to be as easy and secure as email.
So have most of the app dev projects that we've seen in government, have they been accessing enterprise services, or is it more been unclassified data? Because I feel like a lot of CIOs are still having the issue where they have the device, they are writing apps in a lot of cases, but we're really not unlocking the real value of a mobile strategy because they don't have access to their true systems.
Yeah, I want Ken to comment as well, but what I've seen is that people do not access classified data unless they're using a certified device that has been approved, and then they're using applications that were written and meet certain certifications that allow them to even talk to the back-end systems, usually on network with either a VPN or within the organization's data center. Okay. They don't want wireless, though, for classified access in most cases because of the liability. So then you look at unclassified data, and it's use case driven. And do I have enough use cases to require me to build multiple applications, or do I compete with doing nothing and let people go to a web portal? And a web portal on a mobile device just isn't graceful, but at least it's secure because they can run that over VPN without any local storage.
Got it. What about you, Ken? What observations are you seeing out there, just in terms of the evolution of mobility in government?
Well, absolutely. We're seeing, we are starting to see people get into the mobile first, not mobile first, but we're seeing people get to more of a mobile application platform. They are looking at very quickly building these applications, looking at doing the hybrid mobile approach as opposed to like the custom mobile approach. But as you mentioned, like security is definitely very at the forefront of their concern.
Okay. And then you brought up the word middleware before, and I think a lot of the audience that tunes into these various episodes knows about app development. So can you talk about, if I'm a developer, what types of middleware services can live in the cloud with something like a mobile application platform versus something that has to physically run on the device?
Certainly. So when you think of middleware, think of it as the thing that connects you from your device to the back end. You've got to get to the data, but how do you get there? How do you know to pull the right data out? How do you know to store that data on the back end once you're done accessing it? And that's what middleware does, is it optimizes the front end to talk to the back end. And when we talk mobility, I like to call it's data access. It just happens to be in your pocket. So how do you get your data access off your device, mobilized? How do you get a button that says, you've got something you need to do, a little red circle that says you have an action to take? My backend data system doesn't know how to tell a mobile device that. It needs some middleware to tell it, this is a piece of information that's important to an end user that's in the field. For example, a field worker, someone who's going out and closing a ticket, and they're working on a telephone pole. They don't know they have another ticket until their phone vibrates. They look down. Middleware does that. It says, I have a notification I need to send you, and I also need to synchronize when you close that ticket to the back end so another technician doesn't work it.
And what's the benefit of that being hosted in the cloud versus being hosted in a CIO's data center today?
Three things. One is scalability. As you offer more and more applications on a mobile device, the ability to scale back-end data systems that were never meant to be accessed by mobile devices can now scale because you have a data proxy in front of those backends. The second thing is security. Once you've approved the conduit through which you allow those mobile devices to talk to the backend, you've got now the front-end users hitting a secure gateway, and that data proxy is going to be authorized for all of your mobile app developers in your organization to talk to those backend sources. And then the third thing, the reason that you want to have a mobile application platform idea is that core thought leadership that we are developing now for mobility first and not for back-end data apps, that honestly we can't keep designing for legacy applications. We have to design for mobile devices moving forward.
Okay. So Ken, Josh mentioned earlier field force management, and a lot of the government users that we have large mobile employees. Many of them are doing different types of field work. I know at Visura you've done a lot of work integrating business process and business rules engines with the mobile platform. Can you talk about just some potential use cases that might be of interest?
Absolutely. I mean, so you talk about workforce management. So, and I really like that we've actually implemented this before. But as you mentioned, if I'm a worker, I have to go work on a air conditioner or work on some asset. I want to be able to go with my phone, scan the code on it. It pulls up the information about it. It may pull up the past tickets. It may show me the work that I have to do on that sort of thing. So we have implemented those use cases before. And what that means is in the back end, in the middleware, we have to integrate with a lot of different systems. So I have a BPM workflow, for example, that is figuring out what is the workflow for fixing this thing. It may be counting how much time that I spent on doing this. That might be connecting to my PeopleSoft or my other back-end systems. So there's a lot of integration there. The power is having it in your hand, as you mentioned, but there's a lot of integrations there. So we're definitely seeing integrating with the BPM and with your ESB or your Fuse and those sort of technologies.
So Ken, one question that gets asked a lot is how quickly can someone take an idea they have for a mobile app and actually implement it to start providing some kind of mission or business value? So with a platform like a mobile application platform, how quickly can you do a proof of concept? What's your experience and observation been there?
I mean, I think overall, when people take a look at it for the first time, they're just overwhelmed by how much they can get done in a short amount of time. We've had a couple folks who were showing this technology, and we'll do a proof of concept and say, just give us a use case just to show what's happening. And they're just kind of expecting like a slideware kind of presentation, and here's a fully functional thing just in a couple days. And we've had a lot of good feedback with that.
Yeah, it's nice too, because most mobile projects I've been involved in, they actually have a face, right, to them. Whereas some of the things we work on from an infrastructure standpoint, nobody knows they're running, but it's nice when you actually have an app and can see
it's just
that.
a web service or something.
Yeah, exactly.
This is something.
So one thing, so just to sort of summarize, the Red Hat mobile application platform gives you the ability to integrate with a front end of your choice, or you could use some of the automated tooling like the form builders, right? Mm-hmm. It provides that cloud-based middleware, and then it also allows you to do back-end integration. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you about, Josh, was I understand that Node.JS is a big portion of like how Red Hat Mobile is built.
Yep.
And it's also one of the most popular programming languages right now for doing backend integration. So can you talk about, if somebody's a Node developer, how easy it would be to test out some of these things with Red Hat Mobile?
So Node.js, just like on the front end, you have your iOS developers, Android developers, BlackBerry, Windows, mobile. They're developing in languages that they like and they're comfortable with. Node.js is in the middle to talk and do the translation to the back-end system. And it's so easy to pick up as server-side JavaScript. If you know JavaScript, you pretty much know Node.js already. But the fact that it's running on the server in the middle is allowing it to offload some of those functions that the front-end developer might not be familiar with. There's a community of hundreds of thousands of packages of Node.js. So if you want to search for a database or an ERP system of your choice, find a package, manipulate it, throw it into the Red Hat mobile server, and try and attach it to your front end. You can do that in hours or maybe even minutes.
Well, we're about out of time for this episode of Talking Tech, but I know you guys will be back. So for the audience members out there, thanks for joining us today. As usual, you can contact us at talkingtech@redhat.com, or if we encourage you to please join us for another episode in the future. Thanks and have a great day.